Hey everybody! Today we are going to really spice it up when we're learning about fractions. As you can see, I am in the kitchen and I really wanted you guys to make sure that you knew that we use fractions in our daily life all the time, especially when you're in this room, the kitchen. And today what we're going to do is bake something. And I know everybody loves to bake, whether you help anybody in the kitchen. You might recognize already on the back of the box that fraction, because there's a lot of fractions on the back of the box when you're reading the instructions. So today we are going to bake Funfetti cupcakes, which is one of my personal faves. And I know that some of you guys love this too. If you want to do this at home, all you have to do is make sure that you already have something, and you have to make sure that you're with an adult when you do this. So please do not do this by yourself, okay? Because it involves the oven, some eggs, all kinds of stuff, which we'll get into, but please do not do this unless you have an adult with you, okay? Here's our lovely Funfetti box. When we flip it over, that's where you guys will see the baking instructions. We are going to stick with this top one, the whole egg recipe. So it calls for 1 cup of water, 1/2 cup of oil, and 3 whole eggs. So it gets into other fractions if you're using substitutions, but we're sticking with this top recipe. So it's pretty simple. We're really looking at that 1/2. So let's move on and really discuss, what does a half mean? All right, you guys, I want to go over the back of the box how we're really looking at that 1/2 cup, right? We're looking at that 1/2 cup of oil. So we want to just dissect, what does that 1/2 look like in fraction form? Remember, you guys, a fraction is divided into equal pieces. So your denominator, your bottom number, tells you how many pieces altogether that your fraction has. So I like to think of the denominator as down because it's the bottom. So denominator, how many pieces are split up equally? And then your top number is going to be how many pieces did someone take, how many pieces are left. So your 1 is your numerator. When we look at 1/2, that's numerator is your top number. And then the 2, that is how many pieces altogether do you have? And then how many pieces do you have left as your top number. So 1 out of 2 pieces. So let's look at our little drawing down here. We have 1 part is shaded, so 1 part is gone. We are left with 1 out of the 2 pieces. It was split in half, it was cut in half, and we are only left with 1 piece. So that's where we get half, 1 out of 2. So 1 out of 2 pieces. And you guys, I really wanted to expand on that a little bit more, because when we were doing one of our activities, I noticed that some kids were and actually a lot of kids were doing this, and it's a common mistake, but they were putting the denominator, so if it was 1 out of 2 pieces, they were switching that. They put 2 over 1. And that's a common mistake, but we don't want to make that mistake, okay? We don't want to do it. We don't want to get in the habit of it, because then you're not with me, right? We're doing all this virtual, so I need you guys to hear my words like I was in front of you, and try not to make that mistake with the fractions. So when we think about halves, or it shows you that shaded picture, you want to put all of the pieces that it's broken up into. So if it's broken up into and split up into 4 equal pieces, that's going to be your denominator. That's your bottom number. And then whatever else is shaded, so if 3 of them were shaded out of all of the 4 pieces, you would put 3 over 4. Okay? Try to remember that. I'm gonna come back to the back of the box so you guys can really see that 1 cup of water, because we're going to explain when you see 1 whole and 1 cup and all of that, and what does that mean as a fraction? Because I know we're talking about fractions. So we're going to see, and I'm going to show you guys what that would look like in fraction form. So when you're thinking about a whole, so 1, we have 1, that's just a whole number. There's no halves, it's a whole number. So we have that 1 right there. If we were to think of it and if we needed a visual, I drew a picture. So if we had that cookie that was split into 2, while you have all of it shaded, you have 2 out of the 2 pieces still. That means you have 1 whole piece, right? You still have 2 out of the 2 pieces. Not one of them's not gone, right? Because when we look at that 1/2, that 1/2, that means one of them it was eaten, one of them's gone, something happened to that. You only have 1 out of the 2 pieces left. But right now you have all of the pieces there. So 2 out of 2 equals 1 whole. Same with if we had broken our fraction up into fourths, it would be the same exact thing. So you still had all those pieces of pizza left, and you had 4 out of the 4 pieces. I know we're gonna get started, so let's just double check our directions. We have, again, we're sticking with this top recipe. All we need is 1 cup of water, 1/2 cup of oil, and 3 whole eggs. And it says step 1, set oven to 350 degrees. And since I am making cupcakes, I already got mine ready to go. Now we are just gonna set the oven. So I'm gonna set it to 350 and press start. So that does have to preheat. All right, you guys, now we are going. Okay, you guys, so I have all of my ingredients ready, and I made sure that I got my measuring cups out. I want you to just take a look at the 2 different sizes. Remember, our recipe on the back called for 1 cup and 1/2 of a cup. So if we're looking at these, which one do you think would be the full cup and which one would be the 1/2 cup? So take a minute. I want you to tell somebody that you're around right now, and if you're not with anyone, shout it to your stuffed animal or your dog. Tell them that answer, because I know that you know this. This is pretty simple. So if you guessed that this one was the cup and that this one was the 1/2 cup, then you're right. And you can tell whenever, if you decide to bake something with your family members, you can see right on there, and of course you can't see it that well, but this one says 1/2 cup and this one does right on here just say 1 cup. So you would be able to see that fraction right on there, and then you can say, oh my gosh, here's the numerator and here's the denominator. So let's get started. We need to start finally making this deliciousness. So I'm gonna get some scissors. We're gonna cut this bad boy open and dump it right in this nice bowl. I can already see the funfetti funness. I like to call this my Funfetti Fractions. Boom. Okay, so now I'm gonna get my 3 eggs because it said I need to get 3 eggs. Eggs do usually help with keeping it all together. Don't throw your box away too. That's a rookie mistake. Do not throw your box away because it has all the ingredients and instructions on here. And sometimes you just want to throw the stuff away to make sure that you're keeping everything in order. So be careful when you are cracking this egg because sometimes we can get egg shells in our mixture and we don't want that. So we're gonna go ahead. I like to give it a little tap. Make sure everything gets out of there. Okay, same with this one. Okay, throw those away. I'm gonna rinse my hands really quick. All right, so next we have to make sure that we are doing the 1 cup of water and the 1/2 cup of oil. This is where it's so important because if we do not have our fractions and we don't know our fractions, then we're not gonna get the right measurements in here. And then our lovely creation isn't going to probably taste as good as we want it to. So you're gonna fill that up and just dump it right in there. Okay. Next, I'm gonna make sure I fill my water up. Oh yeah, we're getting somewhere. Okay, next we're going to mix it, and I'm gonna just do a different angle so you guys can really see the mixer and everything, all the fun stuff just coming together. When I was your age, I always asked my mom if I could lick these little beaters and lick the batter off of them. It was just something I like to do. So once we do that, now the next step, we're gonna check out the box. All right, you guys, so next after we mix the batter, I checked the instructions and it looks like I just have to pour it in and wait for it to bake, and that those will be done, and then I can frost it. So I will put a finished product picture on here so you guys can see how they turned out, and I wish I could make them for you. So I hope that you guys had some fun and got to see me cooking and making baked goods with fractions and learn that fractions are a part of our daily life. So if you are able to go in the kitchen today and bake with your family member or anybody, do it. And if you make something, make a video, post it, something. We want to see it. All right, bye guys, have a great day.